I think it's incredibly fundamental for young professionals to be in foreign affairs because the world has become more complex, it's become more dangerous, but at the same time there's so much optimism and enthusiasm.
Young people being involved in foreign affairs is really a different way of saying young people care deeply about rising to the challenge that our generation faces.
How do we think about the world's largest problems? And a lot of times the adults at the table sort of dismiss the younger perspective.
To be a better policymaker, you need to know the community you're connected with, and YPFP gives those opportunities.
I love this Shirley Chisholm quote, if there's no seat at the table, bring up a chair. I think what actually YPFP does is it creates new tables.
The inspiration behind young professionals in foreign policy in many ways was actually a pretty dark moment in our history. It was September 11th. I was surrounded by a lot of young people who were forced to ask really hard questions about what was going on in the world, about America's role in the world, about how to heal, and a sense that the people that we looked up to were not helping us answer those questions.
It is a great idea. It is a powerful idea that we will bring people from different communities and sectors of the foreign policy community together and help shape them into the foreign policy leaders this nation will need to face the challenges ahead of us. That's a great idea, but it's just an idea without people to make it a reality.
I kind of always dreamed or imagined that we would last for 20 years, but I sort of doubted that we would, and here we are. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, a huge part of the reason for that is the incredible volunteers that have given so much to the organization. And I think it's pretty fitting that my goal would be that we survive another decade.
For us to even broaden the lens of who thinks about foreign policy, who maybe never even traditionally saw themselves as a foreign policy leader. I would love that.
In the vein of there's not one archetype of a leader in foreign policy, there's also not one job role to be a leader in foreign policies.
It's not necessarily being the smartest person in the room or having the best ideas. It's much more about grit.
So it's really, really nice to have a job in a nice place like Brussels, but you also need to be willing to go to the places where actually the front lines of foreign policy are.
It is not easy. It is so difficult, especially as a woman of color. You belong, and not only do you belong, you will thrive. Your voice matters just as much, and if not so, than the person who is the loudest.
Happy birthday, YPFP!